set.
Who's your next guest?
Lou, if he's here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks guys. Oh, this was fun.
It's really just kind of a roundtable thing, but
Thank you guys.
Well, yeah. We ended up, some of our interviews almost always end up with just plain
we
conversations.
talk, so we just talk.
Dave and I are
Unless you have the specific agenda item that you really want to talk about, yeah.
Running together. Our first election, actually.
the signs that were stolen by Jeff Wojtrowski were our signs. I was on top, you were on the bottom. they were co-signs. They were being
You want to hear the
stolen.
Motel 6 commercial again, that's on next. But
It's a good one.
Yeah, very good.
we will see
My
them
signs
on
are
the
being brought to Captain Sullivan's house.
Gentlemen,
Hey.
how are you, Paul?
Good, how are you?
Good seeing you.
DJ.
Thank you.
Is Lou with us as well?
He's on his way.
Oh, excellent.
I can
Okay.
give him a call, find out where he is.
No, grab a seat. We can start with you and he can join us.
Okay, I was told it's 10:45 and I'm just early.
No, it's 10:30 actually.
10:30, okay.
But we'll put you on.
There's obviously
All right.
nothing I can do. I mean, there's not a lot I
And
can do
there's
in
some good
Manchester,
news
but if
about
there really is
Benghazi this
ever
week,
anything I
or
can
rather,
do.
there's been some news about Benghazi
Yeah.
this week, which will give us more to chew on.
Come and visit and bring the baby.
Oh yeah, I'd love to do that. Let's set up a time to do that. I can bring my dad along too.
Oh,
My
please.
dad gets
How are you, Paul?
lonely.
Nice to
He
meet you.
never feels like he gets enough time with Daniel. So.
Then come on down.
Yeah.
In case you hadn't heard, she's the fairy grandmother.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's noticed.
Hey, how are you?
I'm David Hurst.
I'm Paul Horvath. Nice to
pleasure.
meet you.
Paul, grab a seat in front of the microphone there. This is
Okay.
Steve McDonald.
Hi, how are
How you
you?
doing?
He's the guy who does the most to organize GrokTALk. Skip Murphy is in the next room. He'll be right back.
No, I'm not. I'm Mike Slice.
Okay.
You probably saw us when we came along to your candlelight vigil.
Yes, I did.
And thank you again for taking the time to interview at the end of it in the near darkness. But
Yeah, that was fine.
we got it up there.
Yeah.
We're going for hot dog festival.
Probably, as usual. Yeah, you might want to just text him and say it was actually 10:30. And show us what I told him. Okay.
When we call him, he should be driving, so I don't know.
Going live in like 10 seconds.
Is that Lou? Yes, that's what I thought. He's here already.
Are these in here?
Paul thought you were on your
We
way.
are
Yeah,
back.
bring him
From our very brief break.
Paul's here already. Great.
in. Grab this headset.
Here it is. But we are back. Steve, I'm here with Mike. If you're watching the video, there's all kinds of crazy stuff. People coming in, we got all kinds of stuff. So, this is GrokTALK, brought to you by GrokTALK.com, broadcasted and recorded, not broadcasted yet, recorded live from Concord, New Hampshire, in the CNHT offices, which we have the CNHT studio in room number 6, right here in the middle between all the other rooms. The Coalition of New Hampshire Taxpayers does their business in the room over there. There's another group that does their business in the room behind us, and we've carved out a little space in the middle to give us a spot for all our equipment, which you can see on camera if you're watching us on video. And this is what we do every week. We contact some local people, we get together, and we sit down and we talk, and that's what GrokTALK's all about. Our next guest is here, and we're going to be talking about something which I have absolutely no knowledge of whatsoever, so I'm going to turn it over to Mike because he's much more familiar with it than I am.
Okay, so with us today we have Lou Milanese and Paul Horvath, who are partners in crime, or should I say crime-fighting partners, against the sins of the administration on Benghazi and its cover-up. They've brought some graphics with them, which I think are more or less on camera, and they're holding a series of candlelight vigils in New Hampshire to draw further attention to the travesty that occurred and the abandoning of the heroes who were prepared to fight on that eventful night.
You know, I'm just going to ask you to pull your microphone down a little bit and turn it in. There we go. Okay, thank you. That'll probably work pretty
you
well.
want just sort of just below the mouth, because otherwise you get too much breath in. You're fine. Okay, so having introduced the folks, Lou, why don't you start telling us about your mission and go back and forth, and we'll interrupt you with questions.
Sure. My name's Lou Milanese. I'm from Newbury, New Hampshire. And I got really interested in this whole Benghazi thing after I heard about the strike on our consulate. At first I heard about it when I was at work, and I had heard that it was all due to a video, which we know now had nothing to do with. And what really bothered me a lot about it was that I was hearing the media pick up that it was produced by a Coptic Christian. Right away there was the attack on the Christians, and you know, since then, since it's been proven that it was nothing, there was nothing to do with the video, I'm still waiting for an apology from the administration and such, and from the media for pointing the finger at the Christians. I got really interested in this a lot from that, and from hearing the parents out there that lost children, you know, in this attack there, and being given second-rate answers. Oh, we're going to get back to you. They were told when the coffins came. And I looked at something the other day regarding this, these phony scandals, which was a response to this phony scandal statement from Patricia Smith, mother of Sean Smith, who was murdered in Benghazi, who was the information management officer. And she said she just barely got scant information back, maybe a letter or something saying that this just concerns the immediate family. Well, what is a mother? You know, and these people need answers. They need answers as to why help wasn't sent. They need answers as to why numerous dispatches from Embassy Tripoli calling for more security being sent to the Secretary of State, then Hillary Clinton, went unanswered. So that's really what my mission is. I believe we have some good people in Congress and in the Senate that are fighting this, trying to get some answers. But what I'm doing is I'm turning to America. We've got to start lighting the candles. It needs to come from the grassroots, that we're supporting these people and we want answers.
Have you heard from people in other states that are doing anything similar to this?
There was one that was actually running a candlelight vigil, but what theirs was approaching the administration, not so much just honoring those 4 that were killed, but they were calling for the release of those that were there that night. The victims, the victims of the attack that did survive. They were looking for those to be brought forward.
Now, we've heard recent news that there was a large contingent of CIA operatives running a gun running scheme through there. That just came out this week, I think. I didn't even read it yet.
That was known from day one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were suspected very early that first of all, part of Christina's job was to recover missiles that had been, shall we say, at the best oversupplied to the Syrian rebels, to the Libyan rebels, and to try and repurpose them for Syria. And it was the process of gathering up and shipping them out, I think, that was a very hazardous occupation, and it put them at risk of basically running into some kind of dispute, which is exactly what happened.
Well, I know there was speculation early on about that, but I know recently they said that the CIA had these people were being forced to take lie detector tests every month to make sure that they hadn't, in fact, leaked information about Benghazi to the press. So a lot more details have come out recently about what initially was speculation. I mean, we knew that Obama had given weapons to Libyan groups that ended up being Al-Qaeda-based groups who were then using these weapons any way they wanted. That was always going to be the case, I think, the minute they decided that Gaddafi had to go. So they were pretty much inventing disaster, inviting it, certainly. Yeah. And Benghazi is definitely I mean, if they were running weapons through there and the rebels knew about it and the terrorists knew about it, well, hey, there's a bunch of weapons here. We could go get those.
But it was actually worse than that. I think there was supposed to be some kind of deal going down. A representative of one of the rebel groups was supposed to be meeting Chris Stevens that night. and they saw something that that disturbed them, and they thought they'd been betrayed, and that's why it turned from a meeting to an attack.
No, I haven't heard that about. I haven't heard that about they were supposed to meet with Chris Stevens. No, I don't really know. Nobody knows what happened. There's so many scenarios. There's a scenario that Chris Stevens was supposed to be kidnapped and be traded for the blind Sheikh Abdul Rahman.
Yeah, sorry, maybe that was it. Yeah.
No, that was one of them. One of them was they were gun running from Libya to Turkey to Syria. That's a possibility. And the third was somebody was interrogating Syrian prisoners at the CIA compound.
Rendition.
And
So-
that had caused all manner of trouble.
So we don't
Especially
know.
for a group like the Obama administration that campaigned against it.
So we don't know what the truth is, and every time you look around, there's, oh, this is a phony scandal, oh, these people can't talk, these people are getting identities changed. Now they're people that were on the ground are being interrogated every 30 days, make sure they're not talking to anybody. So, I mean, the story just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and most of the news stream media is ignoring it.
I keep hearing that, as Paul said, there are phony scandals here. We're not trying to cover anything up. Come on. I mean, and there are people that are still buying this. That is what is amazing to me.
They get their news from the alphabet soup people. So.
Yeah, well, and that's where the new media comes in, where we see these kinds of things. We try to cross-relate stories to stories to stories. We look at the sources that they come from, because we know who some of the good blog sites are. We know who some of the ones that are kind of shaky. But when you start seeing stuff that says, okay, they're saying this, they're saying this, they're saying this, they're saying this, and they're all citing different sources, the pattern starts to come up. And when the conservative side of the new media starts seeing all that, that's keeping it alive. I mean, there's so many stories that at some point they do have to bubble up, and they will make it to, as Steve said, the ABC soup of media. It is going to get out there, and I think with this new revelation of what was going on in Benghazi with the 32 CIA operatives, probably with an Iran-Contra gun running scheme, with the man pads and all that other stuff. I mean, this is just going to keep giving it legs. This is going to hurt after a while. This is what I call the drip, drip, drip Chinese water torture on top of the Obama administration's head.
But what Obama's not thinking about is Cheryl Atkinson of CBS News has been on top of this from day one, as well as Fox News. She's received several Emmy nominations this year, and one of them was on Fast and Furious, the gun running. One of them was on Benghazi, and the third one was on tainted vaccines, I believe.
And then she came on because she thought her PC had been hacked by somebody unknown.
Yeah, but she was on from the beginning about Benghazi after she did the gun walking thing, and her PC she believes been hacked. Fox News has been hacked. So something is going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and ABC, Fox foremost, ABC, CBS to some extent, and CNN to some extent have actually been committing real journalism on this. They've actually been discovering some of the malfeasance, and it's so bad that they would, they actually have to print it.
There is a point here. We talked about the intimidation of military. You have to also grasp the concept that they may have been intentionally clumsy to some degree in their effort to appear to have been investigating these people and these agencies, these news people, because that sets a precedent in the minds of everybody else who has any interest in reporting on it by saying to them, if you go here, we will too. We will investigate you. We will secretly tap whatever we want. You don't know what we're going to do. You don't know if we're going to tap your phone. You don't know if we're going to follow you. You don't know if we're going to investigate you and go dig up stuff on your PC, or maybe plant some stuff on your PC. But they send that message out when they go and Cheryl Atkinson says, I think somebody was messing with my computer. Everybody else who has a computer, and that's everybody in journalism, has to sit up and go, am I next? What can I report? What I can't report? It keeps them in line.
But it was also...
Or close enough to be worrying, maybe they'll blow up your car in LA.
Yeah, they'll slant a story a little different. They'll leave a few words out. They'll write the safe story instead of writing what I mean, some of these people probably are excellent journalists, and they probably want to do something that's a career-changing, cutting-edge story. It's real news. But because of where they come from in the J schools, and because of the newsrooms that they live in, where none of that's really allowed, because your job is to protect power, your power, Democrat power, they might not be inclined to go that way. And Cheryl Atkinson's one of those rare examples of somebody who's like, you know what, this is news, I'm going to talk about it. And to her credit and to CBS's credit, she's not with CBS anymore.
Yeah, she's still with
She's still
CBS.
there. They're letting her. And I think that's awesome.
Well, they tried to shut her down, and she kept speaking up, saying, this is going on there one way or another.
Yeah, she went around her own organization to keep some of this up. And where is she going to go? She goes to the new media. I mean, that's really where the story's been kept alive. That's one reason why we have you folks on, is we are part of the new media. We're one of the bigger new media outlets here in New Hampshire. We're trying to do our part to keep it moving.
Okay, where do we go now? Do you have any new vigils coming? Do we have anything planned?
Yes, September 7th, which is a Saturday. It'll be at the New Hampshire State House again. We've attended it, and it'll be 7 p.m. And we ask people to please bring a candle, show up, and seek the truth. That's
And what do you
we're-
guys do? What roll us out through the process of like the last one we did?
What we do is we have a pledge of allegiance, a prayer, have several speakers speak about why this should be looked into, and we try to keep it non-political. We don't want it to become an anti-Democrat, anti-Obama event. It's about 4 Americans who were murdered, who were left behind by our government, which when you're in the military, you're told to leave no one else behind. You stop at nothing at recovering, either rescuing somebody or recovering a body. And these 4 guys were abandoned by our government, and we want answers, we want prosecution, we want punishment. And I'm personally not going to stop till I get a prosecution and a punishment. You know, somebody gave a stand-down order. Everybody's denying it, but I have heard there were armed aircraft overhead the whole time, and nothing was done.
And that is the sad dysfunction of politics. You know, one of the things, we play in the political arena all the time, and we see how much the progressives have pushed politics into everything. You cannot avoid it. You know, most people say, I don't want to deal with politics. I don't want to, it's too dirty. It's just a waste of time. But yet the progressives are going all the time. Well, we're making it. You know, Cicero said a few thousand years ago, you may not be interested in politics, but be assured, politics is interested in you. And it's just a case where we who play in politics all the time understand that. It's trying to get everybody else to understand. This is the game that's being played behind your back, under your feet. They're transforming the landscape from underneath you. You know, you mentioned, you know, don't leave somebody behind as the military mantra. I'm a double Blue Star dad. My sons, one served in the Marines in Iraq, the other one was a door kicker in Afghanistan. Always, they both said, the Marine and the 101st Airborne Trooper said, we leave no one behind. We don't see that in politics. Too often we see a complete avoidance of courage. We see the avoidance of taking responsibility, unless it's a full responsibility. Oh, I'm the president, I'll take full responsibility, and then nothing ever happens. Or some poor schlub, 40 levels down, gets the axe, and then the president or whoever can say,
But
here, see, I did something.
This is what happened here. Barack Obama said, we're going to do something about it. Nothing was done about it. Several members of the House of Representatives have gone to John Boehner, who's the Speaker, and they said, we got to do something about this when we select committee. John Boehner doesn't want to do anything about it. John McCain, who's supposed to be this big military guy, he's basically been silent on this. He speaks up once in a while. I think he's gearing up for a campaign in 2016, and he doesn't want to make too many waves. Now, I'm tired of it. They work for us. They're our elected employees. Either they do their job or we fire them. I sent a note to Carol Shea Porter to sign a petition that's going through Congress. I got a letter back. Well, I'll think about it. When it comes time to vote, I'll keep your thoughts in mind. That's a bunch of BS.
And John McCain would not have taken kindly if we said, you know what, it's not worth worrying about those POWs in Vietnam. Yeah, of course
Yeah,
we
but
were. Of course we worried.
there were some left behind. What has he done about recovering them? Nothing.
That's a
John
good point.
McCain thinks only about himself. That's all he cares about. You know, I don't know why the people of Arizona keep voting him in office. The guy's not worth bothering with. But I don't live in Arizona, so I can't do anything about it. But I am doing something about this. And I want answers, and somebody better give me some answers soon. Or when campaign time comes around, they'll be seeing me at their events wanting to know why they're answering my questions.
You know, and I think that's the best thing that you can do is to go to their events, especially when there are cameras there. Make sure you get in line to ask that question. Make sure over and over again that if you see the people scribbling in their notebooks, that's the mainstream press, go over and talk to them. Introduce yourself. Make sure that you become friends. Learn what their names are. Talk to them politely over and over again. At some point they may wish to interview you as well. That's how you get your message out. That's one reason why you're here. I mean, Mike took an interest in the vigil. I couldn't get there on time, coming from the Northlands, and but I'm glad that you guys are doing this. But that's another way for you guys to, you know, get in their faces in the town hall, because until somebody makes waves, and that seems to be the issue. Ordinary citizens don't want to make waves. Politicians often don't want to make waves. So you've got to basically take your finger and go, listen, I'm going to keep poking you in the eye, and you'll get away with doing some of that a couple of times. And then you've got to be on the watch out for their handlers who will politely try to steer you away. That's when you have more people lined up behind you and having them ask the same question. We have to keep these people accountable. We have to keep them on their toes, because they're going to try to go the easiest path that they can. It's up to us to put the pebbles and the boulders in their path.
One of the things you brought up earlier, you know, was this whole issue about not making it political and getting forced into making it political. Like Paul and I, you know, we have tried very hard not to make this a political issue. We just want answers, because what we've looked at by that is maybe we'll get buy-in from both sides, Democrat and Republican. People are just getting sick and they want answers for the parents. Let's go past the partisan lines. But quite often, what I get when I'm looking at these dispatches, there were 5 of them that came from, starting in March, that came from Embassy Tripoli to the Secretary of State. And we just want answers. I mean, you know, when you're talking about Embassy Tripoli, we're talking about Libya, where Gaddafi was just kicked out. This isn't like they're getting dispatches from Switzerland, where you join our leader for high tea or something. You know, we're talking about a troubled area. And Hillary turns around and says she doesn't even see these. You know, and anytime I've even brought this up, I've been accused of attacking Hillary. And that isn't what we're out here about. And over you keep hearing, you know, that you're trying to sabotage her 2016 run or something like this. And I've told them it's not about Hillary. But the more I keep hearing it, finally, in defense, I turned and said, should this be about Hillary? I mean, I feel like the mother that has come home at the end of the day. She turns into her driveway and she's met as she's getting out of her car door by her daughter, who says, "Mom, I didn't break your favorite vase." That's what I really feel like with this, because all I keep hearing, it wasn't Hillary's fault. It wasn't Hillary. Why do they keep approaching me about this? I just want answers. I didn't say it was about Hillary.
You've hit it on the head without realizing it. It is about Hillary. It is about 2016, and it is about a possible presidential run. And what you're doing is that you're putting a topic that is toxic in front of people. And yeah, it was her watch. She was the Secretary of State. She was responsible for all this. And they're seeing that going, oh gosh, we got to do damage control now. So they are going to attack you. And then pretty soon, if you keep this up, they're going to start attacking what you do for a living. They're going to start attacking your friends. They're going to start attacking your relatives, because that's what they do. This is like, they play politics as if it was Sherman's March to the Sea. There's only decimation in front. So be careful what may be coming down the pike, because the more you keep this up, and others like you around the nation, you will find yourselves under attack. Not for just, you're saying, I'm just standing up for some people. No, they're seeing a presidential run, and that way they don't get their part of the presidential pie and the government pie afterwards.
Yeah, but
That's exactly what I was going to say. What you're doing is not political. You're doing honest work on behalf of injured parties. The problem is that Hillary's people see it as a risk factor, and just like she felt it necessary to besmirch the reputations when the bimbo eruptions happened, in this case anybody who does anything that might damage Hillary's reputation is going to get the same kind of treatment.
yeah, but she says she's not going to run, so is she lying to us,
Maybe,
telling us one thing and meaning something else?
maybe,
But she should be charged with dereliction of duty, number one.
yeah.
I think it'll definitely come up if she runs. And,
Oh, yeah.
And of course, they want her to run. And everywhere you go, the OFA people are already gearing up for it. I mean, people, not OFA specifically, but the people who coordinate for OFA are already gearing up for Hillary because they're Democrats at the core. And if Obama can't be reelected for some reason, then don't put past him trying. Honestly, they will back the next best candidate, regardless of who it is. But you have to be fearless. We talked about being fearless earlier, and you have to be prepared to be assaulted by anyone and everyone, not just Democrats. Anybody who stands to suffer as a result of whatever it is you do in the political arena. The professional politicians will not let you idly pursue a honorable goal, finding out the truth, if it in any way damages them or the machine upon which they rely.
It's already happened.
Of course it has.
First, when this came out.
But we're talking about Lou, you guys. I mean, we're used to it. We get attacked in email, we get death threats, not really necessarily, but they'd like us to be dead. And we get, I had somebody write a letter to my boss at my work to try to get me fired. I mean, these are the things that happen when you engage in the political. Once you step on the chessboard, you are in play. And you have to, and they want you to know that. They want to scare you out of doing what you're doing because it's right and it intimidates other people. It doesn't, I'm sorry, backwards. They want to intimidate you so that other people don't try it. And if they can destroy you, then they'll hold you up and go, ha ha, look what I did to you, don't you dare do it. So,
Right.
People need to understand that you're not just doing a good thing by asking in the name of these dead people, can we have some justice? Can we have some explanation? Can we just have some truth? It's not always just about that. It should be. But, you've walked out onto the chessboard, so you just need to be prepared.
No, my attitude is bring it on.
Okay,
Don't want
that's
to
it.
fight.
That's what we want. You're
Yes.
fearless.
They
That's
want
what
to
you got.
fight. Let's have a fight.
You have to just stick to the facts as they are. You have to tell it the way you see it, and then you have to be able to respond to all the attacks that come at you. And as long as you are direct and consistent and forward about what your intentions are, usually you do okay.
So
And we'll help you.
yeah,
My-
exactly.
My answer to these
Appreciate it,
people
yeah.
is if this was President McCain, I'd be doing the same thing.
Right. So let me ask.
It's not political for me. It's about doing what's right.
Let me ask you a couple of things. So we're publicizing the fact that we have a candlelight vigil on September 7th at the State House. And obviously you're going to have some guest speakers. So who have you got coming this time, guys, that's going to be, aside from the mission itself, another good reason for people to come and listen?
We're still looking for speakers. We were blessed last time with the numbers we've had, and being early in the game, the doors are still open for speakers. I will gladly open the event, but I've been talking to a number of people out there, and I've said if anybody feels strongly about this, and again, I know we've touched the political arena. As Paul has said in the past, we don't want to get up there. It is going to accomplish nothing to bash the administration. What we want are facts produced here, presented to the American people, and you make the decision. The other thing is, we're trying to push this beyond Concord. I mean, if Concord is too far, I just put something out on Facebook today, our page here, Benghazi -- No American Left Behind. Come see us on Facebook. And I've urged the people, please, if Concord is too far, start one in your town. Let's have this go across America, September 7th. We're almost it'll be almost the 1-year anniversary. And that's really what we're looking. And what I encourage people, and I know I didn't answer the question because I don't have any speaker online yet, but I believe it's going to start coming in, that we're going to be hearing more and more from people that do want to speak. They
Okay.
were very enthusiastic last time. I think we had 7 or 8. But what I'm really encouraging is, as you're going out there looking
Keep going.
at this Benghazi, this whole situation, you're going to find a lot of information out there, both true and false. And when people talk to you about it, don't be afraid to look them in the eye and do the one-word challenge, as I call it. Source. What is your source? Because there is a lot of information floating around there that is rumor.
Is there other contact information besides Facebook that you want to provide?
Well, the one thing I encourage everybody to do is look at the government oversight and Congressional Oversight and Government Reform Committee. You will find the 5 dispatches sent out to Hillary. I advise you to go to the Accountability Review Board. Look at their actual document. And one more, Stars and Stripes, October 5th of 2011 shows that the Marines were in Sigonella, Sicily, 469 miles away at a naval air station. You had 125 Marines and you had a ride for them.
All right, that's our show for this week. My name's Steve McDonald. I'm here
That's
with
excellent. Send
Skip Murphy and Mike Rogers, who's trying to say something. Hello. You guys, thanks for coming down and spending some time with us. We'll try to keep this up on the website and keep it alive and help you find some speakers. And we'll be back next week with more guests and more conversation on GrokTALK.
All I was trying to say was, send us the links to those things you just mentioned, and we'll post them up there.
Super. You got
Okay,
it.
that makes a quick and easy article.
Mike, why don't you offer to speak?
Oh, I can.
There you go. You got a speaker.
I'm going to
Yeah,
leave
he's
you
good.
this.
Yeah, sure.
That's fine. Do you want to speak?
Okay.
This is a copy of the Stars and Stripes taken off the internet.
Sure. Well, send us the link.
Sure,
Because we,
sure.
we
Grok TV.